Oldham County Code Enforcement Board meeting. And at this time, we'll do the swearing.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
I do.
I do.
Okay, we're going to start off with the approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? And are there any changes or corrections?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of July the 5th.
We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move right on to new business, starting with citation 491.
Good afternoon. Citation number 491, that was the case that was carried over from last month's hearing. It's for 3406 Pin Oak Drive in LaGrange. And I'll go over it briefly. It was a nuisance violation at that address. Paul Williams was the owner of record that resides at that address. A hearing was not requested. And on April 18th, the Code Enforcement Office received a complaint about the property. An inspection was conducted. They had trash debris scattered behind the driveway. Large pile of tree limbs front yard, building materials scattered on the side of the yard, lawn furniture scattered in the rear of the yard. And I apologize, this is not the one we carried over. Or it is, but I've got the, okay, yes, it is, it's the one we carried over. Had lawn furniture scattered in the rear yard. Photographs were taken and courtesy notice was sent to the owner. And here's the photographs taken from that visit. Now I've run into a problem all over the county with people on their brush piles because we have the no burn in effect. So I've just pretty much told everybody to just hang on to your brush piles until October 1st. There's the building material right on this side of the deck, concrete blocks and some other materials. And then the photo on the right, there's a huge piece of plastic with odds and end materials back there, lawn furniture scattered. I know it's kind of hard to see on the images here. On May 4th, conducted a follow-up inspection. Very little improvement, and the grass had started to grow, hadn't been maintained. Photographs were taken and a notice of violation was sent to the owner. Here's photographs from that visit. The front yard's not so bad, but the backyard had really grown. Building material is still where it was at. The lawn furniture was still untouched. On May 22nd, did a follow-up inspection, and again, very little, if any, improvement noted. Photographs were taken. Citation number 491 was issued via certified mail, and a copy was posted on the front door of the home. There's photos from that visit. They stacked up some pallets in the back. Building materials had been kind of rounded up. They were still laying there next to the deck. A good part of the yard still hadn't been mowed. There's citation posted on the front door. July 3rd, a follow-up inspection was conducted, which noted a large amount of improvement. I had heard from, it was complicated. The owner of the property does not reside there. His brother does. And until he got the citation posted on the front door, he's claimed he never opened any of the mail with the courtesy notice or the notice of violation. But after he got the citation, he got to work, so I requested it be carried over from the July hearing to this one. Those are the photos prior to this hearing. On August 2nd, today, did a follow-up inspection. The lawn was taken care of. Everything had been picked up. The grass had been mowed, so the property is in compliance. Even though it's in compliance now, I think it's enough evidence to show that he was in violation at the time.
Okay.
Do you have a recommendation for us, or?
I would request that it be dismissed at this point. He's in compliance and doesn't. I don't think he's going to let it go.
He's been cooperative, and once he was aware of the violation, the resident, not the owner, but
Correct. And I haven't heard from the owner. Apparently there was a financing issue, and it's two brothers. So one brother financed it and the other one lives there.
so no need to, in your view, no need to take any action, just dismiss as it's in compliance.
I'm good with that. You know, that's my main goal, is get the property into compliance.
Yes.
And
Okay. I'll make that motion.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second to dismiss this case. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Motion carries.
Okay. The second case for today is citation number 492. The address is 6206 Osage Road, Crestwood, Kentucky 40014. Case number 17-0017. The owner of record is Harold Tennell, that resides at that address, and it's actually two separate parcels that he owns, 6206 and 6208. A hearing was not requested. Mr. Tennell is here. Violations was of the nuisance ordinance, KOC 89-800-846, sections 2 and 3. Section 2 is maintaining a nuisance causing a diminution in property values of other properties. Section 3, non-operating motor vehicles not allowed to remain on the property. The case started on April 4th. Code Enforcement Office received a complaint regarding the condition of the property. An inspection was conducted and found 6 vehicles parked in different locations on the property. All the vehicles appeared to be inoperable. Photographs were taken and a courtesy letter was sent to the owner of record. On April 10th, Mr. Tennell came to the Code Enforcement Office, stated he would begin addressing the issue. He stated that one of the vehicles had already been repaired and was operable, and he would repair or remove the other vehicles no later than May 1st. We ended up agreeing on April 24th with a follow-up inspection on April 25th. On April 25th, Mr. Tennell contacted the Code Enforcement Office stating he was continuing to make progress on the issues but was not done. I conducted a follow-up inspection. I could see progress was made, and so I decided to extend the case out, give him some more time, and have scheduled follow-up visits. On May 2nd, a follow-up inspection was conducted with very little progress being noted. On May 17th, follow-up inspection was conducted with very little progress. I did talk to Mr. Tennell at the property at the time. who stated he had not made as much progress as he wanted, but he would put the effort into bringing the property into compliance. And then on June 2nd, a follow-up inspection was conducted with no progress appearing to be made. Photographs were taken and a notice of violation was issued to Mr. Tennell. On June 15th, a follow-up inspection was conducted and found that several of the inoperable vehicles remained sitting on the property, and that the grass and other vegetation had pretty much become overgrown. And on June 16th, citation number 492 was issued via certified mail, and a copy was secured on the front door of the residence. While serving the citation there on the residence, observed that yet another vehicle had been brought in and parked on the property that was inoperable. And then this morning, a follow-up inspection was conducted that found the grass had been cut, partially trimmed, the property itself was looking good. However, there were 5 vehicles on the property, only one of which I know for sure to be operable, and photographs were taken, and kind of changed the order of the presentation. So we had the photographs from April 25th. You can see the vehicle over on the side. There's another one on the other side of that vehicle. I'm making a mess. Yet another vehicle here, here, and here. May 2nd visit, you can still see that vehicle remains, and it's harder to see, but there's yet another vehicle here and 2 more here. June 2nd. There's one. There's one back in there. That vehicle remains. June 15th. Still have a vehicle there. I believe this is Mr. Tennell's vehicle. That's the one he drives every day. And then a third vehicle back in there. And there's a copy of the signed return receipt and photograph where the citation was posted on the door. And there's the vehicle that was present on the 16th when I served the citation. And as of today, shows we've got those 2 vehicles parked. We've got another one there. There's Mr. Tennell's vehicle that he drives. And then we've got the pickup truck here. And like I said, those vehicles I don't know the status of. So I believe the evidence shows that it's a continuing violation. I know Mr. Tennell has put some effort into complying, but I don't think he's reached that point yet.
Okay. Does does Mr. Tennell wish to speak?
Do you wish to speak? Do you have anything you want to say?
a moment, will you raise your right hand?
Pardon?
Can you raise your right hand? You have to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Would you please state your name and address?
Harold Tennell, 6208 Osage Road, Grantwood, Kentucky.
All right, sir, do you have anything you would like to say?
I'm trying to get everything straightened out. Unfortunately, I've got all the wood cleared out, and I've taken and hauled off 2 of the cars that was there. I'm trying to get everything taken care of as possible, and I'll work with the board in any way possible that I need to do to take and remedy the situation. I'm very sorry it happened, but like I said, I'll try and do whatever I can to satisfy the board's, whatever they need to do. I'm sorry it occurred. I've got my family. I've got 2 little girls, my grandchildren live with me, and a daughter and everything. And the truck belongs to my grandson. So, but I'm trying to, whatever the board asks me to do, I'll try and get done. I cleared all the field out, and I've mowed everything, and I tried to take and clean it up. Mr. Townsend, you can see that I've had a bout with illness, and I called him on the 12th of June and left a message and told him there's a reason why I hadn't got things done. But I'm willing to work with the board in any way possible, try and get things straightened out.
Okay. All right, sir, you want to have a seat, please? Okay,
Questions?
please.
I have a question for you, Mr. Tennell.
Sorry.
Could you give us an idea of how long it would take you to remove the rest of the inoperable vehicles?
Well,
There's 3 of them there now, I think, 3 or 4 that are inoperable.
the cars, there's only one that's inoperative. I was working on it to take and put a spring tensioner on the timing belt to get it working. But the other cars are working. I'm sorry.
So, you only have 1 vehicle on that's currently there on the property that is inoperable.
Yes. Yes, that's a 95 Camry. The rest of them are operative, and the taxes are paid on them. Like I said, I've removed the one that the Camry that was torn up. It was rolled. It was an accident. I had that hauled off. I got the receipt for it hauled off, and I tried to get all the cars, get them out of the way, where wouldn't be a nuisance. But whatever you decide, I try and work with you and try and get it cleared up, because I'm on Social Security and I just having a hard time making ends meet right now.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Tennell,
Yes, sir.
are the other vehicles that you're working on, are they licensed?
The taxes are paid. I don't have the license on 2 of them. Wait a minute, one of them.
One of them has a license?
No, one does not have a current updated license because I have to get the insurance on it in order to do that. And so, but they're all operative. I paid taxes on all of them.
So you've got 1 that is inoperable and then another one that is unlicensed,
It doesn't have current tags,
current tags.
but the taxes are paid on it. I just, the money-wise, like I expressed to you, that I'm having a little trouble financially right now. I'm trying to make ends meet, but if I have to, if you need me to get the current tags on it, I'll go ahead and do it. That's necessary.
Okay. Any other questions? Clarification on the ordinance regarding unlicensed or inoperable vehicles. Could we review that to know exactly how it reads? In other words, I'm trying to determine exactly, is the vehicle that doesn't have tags considered unlicensed?
I'm going to read the applicable section of the ordinance. It says, allows a partially dismantled, wrecked, junked, discarded, or otherwise non-operating motor vehicle or machine to remain at the property longer than 15 days. There's no language in there about being registered or licensed.
So the only one we're really talking about here is the one that is inoperable, according to
And I'm
Mr. Tennell.
Trying to get the tensioners on the timing belt. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me ask you one question before you leave the podium, Mr. Tennell.
Yes, sir.
Our code enforcement officer's been working with you since April, and
Yes,
here
sir.
it is, it's 4 months. How much time do you need to solve this problem? I mean, do you understand what the problem is?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. How much time do you need to solve it? You know, you're pushing us to the limit.
I understand. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm sorry. I apologize. But like I said, I talked to Mr. Townsend, and he's been very cooperative and helpful. I told him on the 12th of July that I'd been ill health and I was falling behind. If you can give me a little bit more time to get the other car operative and get it going, I appreciate it. And I'll
If
try.
we, let me ask you this. Without question,
Yes, sir.
can you solve this problem in 30 days?
It will be solved, one way or another.
Okay, thank you.
So clarification for you, Darrell, how many vehicles do you feel are dismantled or inoperable?
Well, I know there's one that he drives, so I know that it's operable. The rest of them, I can't say for sure. I know they're there. I know that some of them have been sitting in the same spot for multiple visits, so I don't know what the condition of them are. And without actually going onto the property and, inspecting the vehicles, I've got no way of knowing for sure.
Right.
I know some of the vehicles, Mr. Tennell, he's gotten some of the vehicles off the property that he said was unoperative, but then we've had one show up back onto the property. And I know it was inoperative. It was involved in a wreck.
And that's the one he said he had hauled off.
Yes.
The other ones, are they dismantled in any way, or?
Not on the outside. No, I mean, nothing. I can't tell what's under the hood or.
Have a current license on them?
I have no way of checking. I couldn't get close enough to.
Okay.
Any board discussion? Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead with the procedural matters, and I move that the citation was properly issued on June the 15th, 2017, to Harold Tennell, who is the owner of the property and the occupier. Notice of this hearing was given to the respondent on June the 15th, 2017, and the respondent did not request a hearing but is present. That concludes my motion for the citation.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for the citation. I have a motion by Board Member Moss that the citation was properly issued. The notice was given to the respondent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries.
And moving on to the nuisance ordinance violation. I move to find that the nuisance violation was committed. KOC pardon me while I look for the number. KOC 89-800-846, Section 3, and KOC 8900-846, Section 2, was committed and was observed by the officer and on June the 15th. And there is substantial evidence in the record that shows that the violation is permitted to exist since that time. Well, that's 18 days. Am I correct with the date of June the 15th? That was the date the
Yes.
citation was issued?
It was observed the 15th, citation was issued the 16th.
Okay. That would be 17 days. And that concludes my motion on the nuisance ordinance.
We have a nuisance ordinance violation on the floor made by Board Member Moss. This is the condition the premises were found to be dangerous or detrimental. We have partially wrecked or junked or discarded vehicles. The violation was observed on June the 16th and is permitted to exist for 17 days. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And moving on to the remedial order, determination of penalty. I move that we issue a remedial order stating that the property be completely brought into compliance, including the vehicles and the both citations that were listed in my previous motion within 30 days of today's date.
Steve, what do you mean by bringing into compliance? So Mr. Tennell understands what that means. Is
Well,
that just getting taxes paid up on the car, or?
No, there's nothing in the ordinance about the taxes.
Right.
It's just that the vehicles need to be in compliance with the ordinance. And maybe Darrell could give him a copy of that ordinance
Yes.
that states specifically what he needs to do. And was there still mowing, and the property's been mowed? That
Yes,
portion of it
yes.
we're okay with. It was just the inoperable vehicles.
Correct.
Okay. So if you could just make sure he's got the clear picture of what we're looking for there. In other words, that there can be no inoperable vehicles on the
Correct.
property.
I will. I will.
So, my motion was that the property be brought into compliance within 30 days, specifically the inoperable vehicles that are present today, 30 days from this date.
Okay. We have a remedial order on the floor made by Board Member Moss that the property be brought into compliance, primarily the inoperable vehicles, within 30 days of today's date. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second on the floor. Do I have, for a vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And I'm gonna move on to the civil fine. And I believe the minimum in the first offense on a nuisance ordinance is $10 per day. So at $10 a day times 17 days is $170. I'm gonna move that we assess a civil fine of $170, but that fine be held in abeyance if Mr. Tennell meets the terms of the remedial order within the 30-day period.
Okay, we have a
In
motion.
other words, if the property is brought into compliance, there will be no fine. The fine will go away if it's done within 30 days.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor by Board Member Moss that the fine will be $170 with the balance, with it to be held in abeyance if the property is brought into compliance within 30 days of today's date. We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Tennell, do you understand?
Okay, if you have any questions, you can contact Darrell. Thank you. And so we're finished with your case. You can leave at any time, unless you want to stay and watch more.
Vehicles, so then the only one we got concerned with, if he would just move them, you know, get it back out of the site.
Ready?
Are we ready?
Okay.
All right, the third case for today is citation number 493, and the address is 1208 Lakewood Drive in LaGrange, 40031. Case number is 17-0035. The owner of record is Charlotte Marie and Robert Earl Gibson that reside at that address. A hearing was not requested. Violations was zoning ordinance, keeping an unlicensed vehicle outside of a garage in a residential zone, illegal. And the nuisance ordinance, KOC 89-800-846, Section 1. Number 2, abandoned, discarded, or unused objects or equipment such as automobiles, furniture, stoves, refrigerators, freezers, cans, or containers. April 28th, the Oldham County Code Enforcement Office received a complaint regarding the condition of the property. An inspection was conducted, found a vehicle with an expired license plate parked in front of the home. It appeared to have been parked there for a while. And various household items scattered around the yard, in front of the residence, down the side. Photographs were taken. And I also spoke with a resident of the home that came out to meet me and said he would take care of everything. And he was not the owner. Apparently he was a relative of the owner. On May 17th, a follow-up inspection was conducted, which found that the vehicle remained in the front of the home, and the majority of the other items were still out in the yard. Photographs were taken, and notice of violation was issued to the owner of record. On June 2nd, a follow-up inspection was conducted, which found no improvement in the property. However, the owner, Ms. Charlotte Gibson, contacted the office, stated that she did intend to comply, and requested additional time to go ahead and bring the property into compliance. So I agreed to June 19th as the deadline. On June 21st, a follow-up inspection was conducted, which found that the unlicensed vehicle had been removed from the property. Also found that most of the items that were scattered throughout the yard still remained. Photographs were taken from that visit. And on June 22nd, citation number 493 was issued via certified mail and by personally handing a copy of the citation to a resident of the home. On June 30th, Ms. Gibson contacted me and stating that the rest of the issue had been addressed and the property was in compliance. This morning conducted a follow-up inspection, and found that the property appeared to be in compliance. Photographs were taken. There's the vehicle that had been parked from May 17th. There's photos of the home area. There's a basketball goal and a cooler down beside the house. There's odds and end items, some of which I can't even tell what they are, here and across the front of the garage. Now, on June 2nd, basketball goal and the cooler are still present, and most of the items are still piled up here. Still had items lined up across in front of the garage door. And that was just a very bad angle to try to
Shadows.
take pictures in the morning.
A lot of shadow.
June 2nd, the unlicensed vehicle was still on the property. And June 21st, there's minor improvement. You can see most of the items still remain. They had made some progress on the front porch. June 22nd, got the signed receipt for the citation that was sent certified mail. And as of this morning, observed that other than the children's toys that were out in the yard, and I don't concern myself with those, the items that were piled up in front of the home had been removed. The items in front of the garage door were gone. And on the side of the house, the basketball, the cooler, all that had been removed. So as far as the code enforcement officer is concerned, their property was in compliance.
What's your recommendation?
At this point, I'd request that it be dismissed.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the floor to dismiss. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any other business before us?
No, ma'am.
Okay, being no other business,
I move we adjourn.
we adjourn.
All in favor, leave.
All in favor?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Darrell, good work. Good work, bud.
That was an easy one.
See everybody.
So.
Come to the history center.
See ya.
How do you ferret that out?